happened all in the fall of 2013. So when I left off, it was what? The fall of 2014 when I first started taking my engineering classes. So I got into all good classes. I had all good teachers. It was statics. I took the first physics. What else did I have? I had statics, Calc 3 at USC, and introduction to the Creo CAD class, which is a device that is used to design all kinds of inventions. So anything you buy in this world is designed from this software, right? So I don't care if it's a canister like this or a remote control, even your car. Everything uses this software, PTC Creo or Inventor or AutoCAD or CATIA, but stuff like this. See, that's the kind of stuff that I design. Then whenever I design it or design certain components of it, that obviously goes into the cost of the entire product that you're buying. A portion of that money go to the company or go to myself, but typically go to the individual engineer who invents it, because that's your idea, obviously. But anyway, so that was a smooth transition, and that's when I first learned about the internet, not internet, the company Chegg, Chegg. If you're an engineer or anything in school, get a Chegg account. They have all the textbook solutions. If you need help, you can type in a question. You have a person who will help you out. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but for the most part, it's wonderful, because for the class I had, statics, which is a really tough class, it was open book, open notes. And the whole concept of the teacher having open book, open notes is not that, oh, it's easy because the tests weren't easy because it's open book, open notes. But the fact that in the real world, you have all these resources available to you. No one's going to walk around and remember the entire dictionary. So you use the knowledge that you have and apply it to these problems to solve actual real world problems. Yes, you need to remember it, but what's more important, remembering the formula or actually knowing how to use the available knowledge around you to solve the problems? So that was a lot of my view on open book, open notes. Doesn't mean the class will be easier. If anything, the test will be harder, but it's using the available material to solve these problems. And so that's why Professor Sue, he's this Asian dude, I love him to death, XEU, but he pronounced it Shu, to have open book, open notes, which means open Chegg. And I loved it. Next semester, so it's the spring of 2015, I had numerical methods, I had university physics. I ended up dropping that. Well, the first physics I had was regular physics. The university physics, which is the calculus-based physics, that's one I had problems with back in 2012 at USC. So at Midland Tech. So I first took it in the spring of 2015, and it dropped because the teacher was crazy. Although I should have stayed in the class, because 90% of the class dropped because he always says he's going to fail people, but the people who stay in the class the longest end up passing it. My friend Isaiah passed it. That's when I met Isaiah and Justin, who were both alphas. Shout out to alphas. It's Alpha Day. Alpha Founders Day. So congrats to my HBCU, UMPWI members of the Alpha fraternity. And also shout out to all the HBCUs and the Divine Nine Black sororities and fraternities. I'm for all of them. I'm all about unity. Education is a terrible thing to waste. Anyway, so it's the spring of 2015. I did great in those classes. My GPA went down a little bit. Should have took thermodynamics that summer, but I was so bummed out. I was so tired because I was in this last summer, December 2014. I was in summer school, and so I was burnt out. So I wanted to take a break, and I did. Went to the beach house in Myrtle Beach. That was also the summer the Confederate flag came down. That's right, the summer of 2015. Because I had to come back to Columbia to handle that business with the Democratic Party, South Carolina, in the State House. Yeah. Anyway, other stuff. So the fall of 2015 comes in. That was rough. So that was a rough, because I had That was rough because I had to deal with thermodynamics, which is really tough. In mechanical engineering, thermodynamics is the toughest one. Thermodynamics. I got into a class called dynamics, which I should not have been in, but I got to override into the class, which because to be in that class, you must have all of university physics 1 and 2 done. I didn't have neither of them done, and I had university physics, dynamics, thermodynamics, and I had university physics lab. Yeah. And then I had Stat 509. So 5 classes. So that was a rough semester. And someone told me you're doing too much. Those classes are tough to do. A lot of people end up failing. So anyway, I thought I thought I was gonna flunk out and be put on academic probation, which means you cannot be in school for a whole semester. You gotta take time off. I hated that. If that was gonna happen, that was gonna put me behind schedule another year. I was gonna be depressed. I was like, no, I'm gonna drop out. Which a lot of people who transferred over to Midland Tech with me to USC in the engineering, a lot of them changed their majors. They couldn't take it no more. I stuck it in there. Once again, it's my passion. So, but it all worked out. And so the teacher I had for dynamics was Professor Wiley, who I love to death. And you watch how this all works out. So, it's the end of the semester. I'm stressed out as hell. Thermodynamics, I end up failing. But I love the teacher, though. He was a good teacher. And just the subject was hard. And he was so nice to me because when I told him how I'm pretty much about to flunk out, he really held off. Like, he held off posting all the grades in the class, like, almost at Christmas. And we were emailing back and forth. He's saying, "Are you sure I can post the grades up? Because I don't want your GPA to suffer from the F. Are you sure? Are you safe in your other classes? So where if I post this F, it will not destroy your GPA." Now, what he did was technically illegal, but I'm glad he did it. I love that dude, Paul Titan. But anyway, I failed physics, but I passed the physics lab with a B plus, and then Stat 509, I made an F because the teacher was awful, but I love her though. Teaching wise, she was a bad teacher, but she was a good person. So that's why her name was Cheryl Black. She was from Greenville. I love her. Her teaching method didn't match me, but she's a good person though, so that's why I never bash her all the way. Just her teaching method never did adapt to me, but it doesn't matter because that's how I'm objective. If this guy fail your class, doesn't mean I'm going to attack the teacher. I look at it objectively. Keep that in mind, objectively. What's coming up next? Because she was a good teacher. Her teaching method wasn't this for me. So yeah, I failed Stat 509. I failed Thermal 1, and I failed Physics. So 3 Fs. I ended up passing University Physics Lab 1 with the B+, and I passed Dynamics with the D. The D is passing there, which is good because passing's passing. In some schools, like in medical school, there is no A, B, C, D. It's pass or fail, red light, green light, which is how I think it should be for college. I think it should be red light, green light. You get the material, great, pass. This whole grading thing is bullshit. It's stupid. You get the basic concepts, you pass. It's the A, B, C, D. It's ridiculous. It's dumb. Anyway, so I was depressed. That was the fall of 2019. That was the first roughness I've ever went through. But what prepared me to handle that amount of stress is what I went through in the fall of 2010 with that Puerto Rican teacher I had at Midland Tech, and the stress she put me through, in that class specifically. Because I wanted to get all A's and B's that whole semester to get my GPA high enough to get into USC. So pretty much everything I did at Midland Tech, going through his classes and staying up late to get into USC, I got in, with the major I went in as mathematics. I ended up having like a 2.5, but I have friends who had lower GPAs than I did at Midland Tech, and they did not get in. Some of them I don't talk to this day. Me and my particular friend who I was in high school with fell out over some other stuff, mainly jealousy, but that's another issue we'll talk about later. Her journey of becoming an engineer or going to school pretty much stopped. So she couldn't transfer out of Midland Tech. So she and a lot of other people just got stuck at the community college in our area, and they had to get their associate's degree, and that's it. Which is a good degree. I got the associate's degree too from Midland Tech. But they couldn't go nowhere else. They were stuck. And that was one of my biggest fears is being stuck at a community college because a lot of people do get stuck. Now, if your dreams and passion is to get a degree from that college, then that's fine. But for me, if Midland Tech had, if the community college had the full mechanical engineering program at that college, I would have went there. It's cheaper, but they only had half the program there. The other half was at USC, the full program. So that's why it was important for me to go to university. But I really wish in the future they change that. Have those kind of programs at university, have that at the community colleges and technical schools because it's cheaper. Smaller classes, I like that. But anyway, I ended up making it to USC. So I already told you all that story. So yeah, so I passed dynamics and I thought I was gonna fail dynamics. I was so depressed. I said, Mom, I was suicidal. I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm done. I was gonna to get on a plane and fly up to DC and stay with my aunt and who's a lawyer at the Pentagon and stay at her house for the whole Christmas break. My mom told my mom what happened, and she said and so I was real ready. I opened my laptop up, look at my grades. I was ready to see 1.5 and get an email saying you on active probation because your GPA is now below 2.0. But that goes back to what I did when I first transferred over to USC the spring of 2013. I wasted a semester taking Easy A classes so I can combat the engineering classes. I'm glad I did that. My friends who did not do that, they all flunked out. All of them, besides one of them. That's it. They all flunked out and changed their majors. Me, I'm glad I did that because my GPA, it came down from 3.5 down to 2.2. That's why I always think and plan ahead for the future. Plan ahead and be prepared for all scenarios. I'm glad I did that. Save my GPA. On top of that, I passed dynamics, which saved me the most because Wally helped me in my class. Keep in mind Wally, because me and him built a strong relationship. And so here comes the spring of 2016. I took solids, university physics. I took that class again and ended up dropping it. And I also had this astrology class, which was Easy A, and university physics 2. University physics lab 2. Or I did lab 1, did lab 2. So I had lab 2, solids. That was the only engineering class I was taking that semester. University physics 1, and also astrology. So I ended up dropping university physics 1 because the teacher was trash. So I made a C in solids, A in astrology, obviously, and A in the lab, B plus in the lab. I hit up my friend, so it's a semester, in the end of May of 2016, so legit 3 years ago. My homeboy Ivan, who's from New Guinea, shout out to West Africa, and my other homeboy Mike from Detroit, older dude, he's like 4 years old, he's cool as hell. We're all about to take summer classes, and I was telling him how I trouble with physics, and Ivan like, well, why didn't you take it at Midland Tech? I said, Ivan, I didn't have to. I said, honestly, because their department is trash at Midland Tech, but Ivan's really smart. He not, I don't say smart, he can grasp material quickly. I can't do that. I gotta take time to do that, like most people do. So my homeboy Mike says, you know, let's look at these classes now for physics, because Mike took physics at USC as well. He said, I heard it's easier in the summertime because it costs more. See, that's how they get you. It costs more, but you get what you pay for. So you pay more pay more in the summertime for a better teacher. You end up with what? Better results. So he looked up on his iPad. Okay, Tamir Data, University South Carolina Columbia, great teacher. Okay, easy class. All the tests are identical to the homework. So you study the homework, you pass the class. And I did just that. So I paid to my mom going to summer school. He's an easy teacher for University Physics 1 and 2 because I couldn't take all the other higher engineering classes like Mechanical Engineering Lab 1, 2, and 3 and Kinematics and Thermo 2 without University Physics because the physics was blocking me. So I did that this summer of 2016 and I passed all those two classes, both those two classes with a B plus and an A. I was done. And I never had to walk up the hill again because, see, the engineering department is by itself. It's way over here. And everything else is like, the School of, Art, Science, Law, Business is up the hill. That's how USC set up. So I no longer had to walk up that hill again. I was so happy. That was like a check mark. Like, wow. So all my classes are now just at, Swearingen. At the engineering building. So I don't have to walk across half a kilometer to get to this class or that class. Everything is now at the engineering building. So I can now just focus on this, getting everything done in this building. I don't have to go all over the campus no more, like a little crazy lab rat. So fall 2016, beautiful. I had thermal one. I had vibrations. I had ME Lab 1, Mechanical Engineering Lab 1, had vibrations. I had, and wonderful. So I was going to take an Easy 8 class. The Easy 8 class I was going to take, it was a freshman engineering class. I didn't really need it. Just an easy class to get an A in it, right? So the teacher who taught it was Wally, the guy who taught dynamics that helped me out. I ended up making a D in dynamics, which 99% of all the students made a D in dynamics. It's just difficult. Wally had to clear some space out in my camera, but so what was I talking about? So yeah, I ended up getting hired by my Professor Wally, who taught dynamics that last fall of 2015. So if that's not the biggest sign, then what is? So that just gave me more motivation to hang in there and just get it done. Because at this point, I'm looking at my track sheet of class I got to take left, and I'm approaching the finish line. Like legit, the fall of so it's 2016. And I'm looking at the finish line. I said, based on how it's going now, I will be done come the spring of 2018. If I fail a class because I gotta do thermal 2, fluids, and heat transfer, I said I may end up graduating the fall of 2018, which pretty much ended up happening. But I'm in the end game, like Avengers end game. I'm in the end game now. So I end up dropping, and so here comes the situation. So here is the problem I had, and here we go. So I was gonna have Paul Titan again to teach thermal 1. That was a nice dude I have who taught when I first had thermodynamics, and he held off on posting the F because he wanted to make sure my grades were safe and secure for him to do that. And when I found out I had passed dynamics, and that pretty much I passed dynamics under Professor Wally, which pretty much ended up on top of me having a high GPA, saving me from going into academic probation. He posted the F, so I didn't. So I had enough of a cushion to save me from going into academic probation. Why did I just repeat that? Anyway, I thought Titan would have been teaching thermal 1, and he was, but last minute he quit and went to USC Aiken for whatever. So this new guy came in town named Cyrus. This old 80-year-old dude from Pakistan. So first semester, he really hard speaking English. He's whatever. So I saw myself failing the class, so I dropped it. I failed the first test. It's a hard subject, so I don't recommend people doing that. But I told him I want to stay in the class and still learn the material so I can do better next semester. So here comes so I did great in the fall of 2016. So now we're in the spring of 2017. So 2 years ago. I had the same teacher. I had him for mechanical fluids, and I had him for thermodynamics. Other class I was taking was ME Lab 2, and I was taking vibration. No, I didn't. So I did not have vibrations in the fall of 2016. I had vibrations in this. I had vibrations in the spring of 2017. In the fall, I had In the fall, what did I have? Anyway, moving on. So, Cyrus was the issue. His name is Cyrus. I hate his ass. I hate him. If he's watching, I don't like you. I wish you would die. This idiot, for some reason, because, there was no thermodynamic tutors. So I would go to his office, because, a lot of people failed the first test. I understand a lot of people failed the first test. I'd go to his office, and he's telling me, well, Mr. Riley, if I don't understand your material, if you don't understand your material, maybe you should go to a lesser school, an easier school, like a black school. I said, come again? Go to a black school. I said, what does that mean? So I was done. I walked out, me being the person I am, I gave him the benefit of the doubt. He is older. He racist, so I know how some foreigners look down on Black Americans because the racial stereotypes put in place by white people in America, and I know that. I've dealt with that before. So I ignored him. But once again, there's no one else to help me. The tutors there are no thermodynamic tutors because if oftentimes people who know that material, they're already graduated. Therefore, they want to be paid, and you see the university is not going to pay them. So therefore, you stuck with the teacher, or that's it, or your little study group. But not everyone the study group. Everyone in the study group is struggling. So, it got to the point where every time I go back to his office, he'll say that change your major, work at McDonald's, go to a lesser school, easier school, go to a black school. And I want to go to an HBCU, but Morehouse didn't have a program. SC State, because of the black people who ran SC State back in the 90s, those idiots, bunch of damn boomers, they end up running that school down financially to where they had to gut half of the engineering program. So it's like Midland Tech, so they only got half of an engineering program. Why would I pay money to go to SC State to do half of an engineering program when I can go to community college and get that a whole lot cheaper? SC State back in the day, in the 80s and 70s and 60s, they pumped out more engineers than USC and Clemson combined. What happened? Simple. Bunch of old black boomers who are really, some are no different than older white boomers who just care about money and raping people, financially raping people. And it's aggravating. I'm like, why would you do that why would y'all do that to your own black people? Like, when I needed an SC State to be there for me, to support people like myself in engineering, y'all weren't there. I mean, the program is pretty much like a community college program of in engineering. It's 2 years. I'm not going to waste that kind of money going there. Do that at a community college. That's why I didn't go to SC State. I would have, but the program got destroyed by people taking money from it and financially wrecking the school. Now it's the turnaround. SC State has a huge turnaround now. I would have went to North Carolina A&T, but their GPA was too high to get in. Now their GPA has now their GPA is common sense. It's 2 point. And I call it common sense. I mean, it's a good GPA for people to transfer into. It's 2.75. Same goes for Clemson. It's like after I graduate, now everything has become more accessible, which is fine. It's better for Gen Z and the next generation. Anyway, so that's what Cyrus said. He kept saying, go to a black school. I said, so is that how you really feel? Okay, I'm done with you. So I was done. So I took the first test. And like any other class, you have, especially in the math class, you have your own paper. Scratch paper. You don't want to get the test messed up with all your work. So he came over thinking I was cheating. Because I kept leaving the classroom on my phone and talking on the phone. He thought I was cheating. My grandfather was in surgery. So he thought I was cheating on the phone or whatever. I said, no, I'm not. So so he came to my test. You're cheating. I said, no, I'm not. Snatched the paper from me. You're cheating. I said, prove it. Where? Got scratch paper. Everyone else in this class got a scratch piece of paper. I don't care. And threw the paper away. I had the same dumbass Cyrus for fluids, mechanical fluids. So the next day we had tests in that class as well. He put his little Middle Eastern Arab assistant next to me, thinking I was cheating. And I saw him. He said, I walked in, went to the back of the room, and I was studying for the test. And something told me, Javion, look at Cyrus. My instincts kicked in. I was looking, and I had my blue headphones on, and I saw him. He kept pointing at me. And so that dude that he was talking to, I end up seeing a chair. I end up seeing him walk over to me and sit down, just staring at me, like in a weird way. I said, "Wow, he really got his assistant to sit next to me." I got my homeboy Teddy, who went to Blackwood, white boy. He cool as hell. I said, "Teddy, can we switch seats?" He said, "Yeah, sure." We switched seats and swapped. Fixed them up. After the test was over and done, during the test, I asked him for help. I said, "Where can I find this formula on the formula sheet?" On the formula sheet, he walked over and here's my test. Here's my test and everything on the paper. I'm on the desk. Here's the paper. Here he go walking over. Just took my test and just like he's trying to find some kind of cheat sheet. I said, "What are you doing?" "Yes, Mr. Riley, how can I help you?" I said, "You know what? I'm fine." Leave me alone. I'm done. After I got out, after the test was over with, I was the last one in the class. I heard him say to his little Arab assistant, saying, "Oh, did you get him?" He said, "No, he switched seats with his friend." "Oh, well, get him next time." I said, "Wow." So even if you want to help, I can't. So either way, I'm screwed. And keep in mind, I didn't even tell my parents or no one about this. I handle things on my own. I can do this. I'm a pro. So I dropped both classes. In the summer of 2017, I was depressed. I'm just depressed as shit. I said, you know what? I'm going to try this fall semester. I said, honestly, if I don't get past thermo, that's it. Because I already got a warning. Because with engineering, in any college, you can only take a class 3 times. So this is my 3rd time not taking thermo in the fall of 2017. And if I would have failed it, I have to change my major. That's it. So this was the ending against the final curtain call. I said, God, if I don't pass this one, I guess I wasted my life doing this for 10 years. So I had kinematics. I had materials, engineering classes. I had Thermal 1. And I had Lab 3. And I was also a TA for Wally class again. So I was working. I said, here I go. If I fail, I fail. Whatever. So I went in, and the thermodynamics class, I got lucky. So it's a black dude from New York. He's a mechanical engineer from SC State. Because once again, back in the 80s back in the 90s when he graduated with his mechanical engineering degree, he went to SC State. Like I said, SC State pumped out majority of engineers in South Carolina back in the day. Before those crazy black boomers and the people who run the school on the little board and they're financially wrecking it. And that's not a shot at SC State. That's a lot of PWIs. USC was in the same predicament back in the 80s and 70s. That's how that Coliseum got built, because the president of USC at the time, he took most of other school money to build a stadium, and USC almost went bankrupt. Like that generation is known for this financially wrecking people. I don't know why. That's why we're in this situation now economically. Anyway, so kinematics was tough, but it was open book, open notes. Rushlow was a good teacher. It was open book, open notes, but it was really, once again, just because it's open book, open notes does not mean that it's going to be easy. But I love the fact it's all about using the material and the knowledge available to navigate through problem solving. Having materials, internet, everything in front of you, and using that to problem solve. So, come towards the end of the semester, I had it was like 2015, I thought I was going to fail, because my GPA was, at this point, 2.5, and I thought I was going to just fail everything. And I also had fluids. I had fluids too. So I had Thermal 1, I had fluids, I had kinematics, and I had Lab 3. And I thought I was going to fail. I really did. And working for Wally. But guess what I had? So for thermal, I had this black dude named Odell. I won't say the first black teacher there, but since I was there, like faculty-wise, because I had a TA or faculty, so TAs and teachers, when Wally hired me, I was, you can say, teaching-wise, I was the only black person. So there were no black teachers. Then you had, and TA-wise, I was the only one. Like and keep in mind, Cyrus was an adjunct professor. He wasn't even a full-time professor. He's adjunct. So he on the same level as me. That's why I didn't give two shits about his ass. Like, you talking to me that way? Huh. I have a bigger office than you do. So then you ended up having, I had Odell for thermo. I got him for thermo. And Odell thinks just like me. The way how he teaches visual, I'm a visual learner, he teaches for me. Anyway, he coming in the semester. I got Thermo 1, passed Thermo 1. I passed kinematics with a D, passed thermal with a D, and I having Lab 3, passed that with the A. And, but I failed fluids. And my GPA I thought would be at 1.8, and I thought I'd have to end up, acting probation, and at that point I had to leave the program. I made a D. So I was just in panic mode, and I made a B. I made a B in materials. And this is why talking to your teachers is so important, because I was in such a panic. I went to kinematics and I talked to my teacher after the test was done. I said, "Is there anything I can do to get a higher grade?" Because at that point I had an F in kinematics. I said, "Rushlow, is there anything I can do to get a higher grade?" I was legit 2 points from a D. A D's passing. And a lot of people make D in kinematics. It's a tough class, but I love that class though. And Rushlow's a really good teacher. I said, "Is there anything I can do?" He said, "I'll see you, Leon, but you know, I look at." He said, "I look at your overall work, and you always sit in front of the class, and you always work hard. So I take all that into consideration." So okay, I went to talk to my materials teacher, because I saw that, you know, Cyrus Damascus gave me an F in fluids. I knew that was gonna happen, because same thing. Every time I go to his office for help, he always says, "Go to a black school," and then kind of find out he did that to the other black kids in class. And what made it even crazier is the fact that you had other people from the Middle East in our fluids class in the fall of 2015. He treated them worse than he treated me. You know how you have over there like Pakistan versus Afghanistan, and like the Shiites versus the Shiites. And so you had people in the class, he just ignore them, who are from Afghanistan. He'll ignore them. Like, no, because your people did this to my people years ago. I'm like, what? Why are you even a teacher then, bro? Like, for real? He crazy. So I knew I failed that class, so my GPA was going downhill. And then but more importantly, I was saying thermodynamics. If I fail thermal 1, that's it, game over. I went to talk to Odell, and I calculated my grade. I realized I passed the class, but I was wondering if I can do anything to get a C. So I talked to Odell. I said, "Can I anything I can do to get a C at least?" He said, "No, I'm trying to, you know, you should." He already put the grade in as a D, and that was my big worry. Like, I made a D, like I'm good, because a D is passing. Because in that a D is passing, and so because it was before you had to have a C or higher in like the thermal 1, 2, and heat transfer. But they realized they need more engineers, and not just in society, but you know, to pass the class and pass the classes to graduate. And so they realized, okay, we know most people making D's. A D is technically passing, so let's raise it. Let's allow a D to be passing, because a D is passing at the end of the day. F is failing, D is passing. Me, it should be pass or fail, right? Which is pretty much where they're going at with this. Technically, where they're going with it. Anyway, in the future, in most schools, they end up being pass or fail system for engineering, at least. For all colleges, they should do that for any curriculum. Anyway, I made a D. I went to my drove downtown. I went to my, not drove downtown, I'm already downtown. I went to his office. I said, "Is there anything I can do to get at least a D? I mean, a C, to get my grade from a D to a C?" He said, "No, I can't. I'm trying to go by the rules, whatever. But you passed the class, but I'm not sure if a D's passing here." I said, "No, a D's passing here." So that's check mark. So that means, God answer my prayers. I'm able to go into, you know, can stay in the curriculum. Went to Rushlow. I said, "Rushlow, I saw what's my grade in here?" Before he posted it, it's an F. I said, "Is there anything I can do to let's get a D?" He said, "Well, you know, I look at your overall work, and you know, I'm gonna see how the other grades are, how the other people in the class are, and I'm gonna, based on that, I'll see if I can adjust it." That's why it's important to never take no for an answer. Always talk to your professors afterwards. Trust me, and sit in front of the class. Go to their office hours, like I did. That's how I built relationships with Rushlow, with who taught kinematics, and that's how I built relationships with my Professor Chen, who taught materials. Build relationships early on, like at the first day of class, even before the first day of class. Talk to them, email them, you know, hang out with them, talk to them.